Today I'm drinking Throat Coat Herbal Tea. It's pretty dang awesome. I've got a little bit of heavy whipping cream in here. I don't know if you can see it. Ooh. Whoever suggested Throat Coat Tea, you are my friend. I love this stuff because it tastes like black licorice, and that is a flavor that I really, really love. I'm not sure why it tastes like black licorice. I wonder what's in it. I don't even know what's in it. But it sure does taste good, and it's nice and warm on this chilly morning. Oh my gosh. I just got home from doing it was like a corporate headshot session for, I think it's a real estate group. Yeah, a real estate group. And it was freaking bitter cold. My toes were like frozen solid. Ooh. And so I came home and I was like, I need something warm and cozy to drink. And I don't know if you guys have noticed on Hide and Seek that Dave has repainted all my kitchen cabinets, which means he took everything out of the kitchen cabinets and threw it in boxes and has been like day after day putting a box back. And I can't really help with this because I'm the kind of person that will just take the whole box and chuck it. And he doesn't like that. The kitchen is his domain and he doesn't want me messing with it. And so I've kind of left it alone. But I went to make myself some Creo brew this morning, and do you think I could find the stuff? I don't know where he's put it. I don't know which box it's in, and I didn't want to have to go digging in order to find it. It was Teresa. You told me about it? Well, of course you did, because you're my friend. Teresa, Keto Fat Girl No More. Thank you so much for the Throat Coat Tea tip. I still drink it multiple times a week, and especially in the cold like this time. And my voice is it's really tenuous. I can lose my voice in an instant. It's really, really annoying, even if I'm not sick. So this has been really, really heaven sent because it really has helped a bit with my voice and with talking and stuff like that. Because I spend pretty much all day talking, and I have 2 YouTube channels now. So me losing my voice is just really bad. Really, really bad if I can't talk, right? Yeah, so, oh man, this is so good, especially with heavy whipping cream in it. Oh my gosh, it's like a treat. I keep meaning to try like Diet Orange Crush with heavy whipping cream to see if it tastes like a creamsicle. That sounds good too. All right, enough about my drinks. There's a few of you here. Don't forget to say hi so I can say hello. Oh, thank you about the mug. I got that at Walmart. That's just a Pioneer Woman Walmart series mug that Chef Dave got me last year. It's really cute though, isn't it? I love it. And they have a whole dishware set in this print. Or at least they did last year. I don't know if they will this year, but they'll have something cute. Because she's awesome. The Pioneer Woman. She's like the quintessential home blogger who set the stage for the rest of us, right? I mean, she was incredible. I remember reading her blogs like years and years and years ago and learning about homesteading and farm life and recipes. She's just fantastic. And the fact that she has now got this really awesome, affordable dishware line that is so pretty at Walmart is just like, she is awesome. I'm so, so proud of the Pioneer Woman and what she has accomplished. Okay, one last sip. Okay, a gulp. It's so good. And the lighting is really weird in here because it's dark today. So I feel like my little light is a little harsh. So I apologize for that. You know, I'm doing my best. So don't forget to say hi because I want to shout everybody out. So if you're here and you haven't said hello, I haven't done that yet. So please go ahead and throw in your hello. I'm going to start calling everyone out. Well, calling you out on the carpet? No. I'm going to say hi to Teresa. I already did, but Keto Fat Girl No More. She's my main woman, and she is here. Honest AF is here. Just Keto Jen, hello. Melissa Davis, thank you for the compliment on the mug. Tara Stevens from New Zealand. I gotta have to visit you someday, girl. New Zealand, what a place. So beautiful. I bet you're not freezing cold over there. Or do you get cold over there? Probably not more than like 50 degrees or something, right? Just sounds like a great place. Wizenant is here. Oh, I got that right. Wizenant. Thank you for the compliment. Emily Coons from Pennsylvania. And Just Ketogen is apparently also in Pennsylvania. You guys should get together if you're close to each other. Vicky Ortiz, hello. Cara Solano, Myrna De La O. Kaylin, HC. Kaylin is here. And Carson Hato. Candy Girl, Queen of the Cage. Woo! That is a name right there. That is a name. Candy Girl, Queen of the Cage. Do I want to know what that means? I'm imagining some lovely things. All right. So today the topic is keto flu. I haven't talked about keto flu specifically in a really long time. And I was talking to Oliver this morning, my 16-year-old son, and I was asking him, what do you think that I should talk about today on my live chat? And he, of course, he spews out his most distasteful part of keto and the part that he has the hardest time with, electrolytes. And I thought, you know what? I talk about electrolytes a lot, but I haven't addressed keto flu in specific in a good long time. So I decided that I would talk about keto flu today because there are a lot of misconceptions surrounding it. It has been touted as just something that you have to get through and then there's no way to avoid it. And that once you get through it, you will never suffer from it again. And so I wanted to address some of those myths surrounding keto flu tips, how you can avoid it, and whether or not you need to be concerned about it in the future when you go on a ketogenic way of eating. So if you have watched my beginner series, I have 3 little videos on just to get started. And the very first video is to cut your carbs down to under 20. And the second video is electrolytes. And the reason for that order is because the very first week that you go keto, you're going to be concentrating more on avoiding cravings and dealing with glycogen depletion and your body begging you for carbohydrates. So you're going to be really focused on avoiding carbohydrates, staying keto, eating enough fat so that you feel satisfied, and just getting through that difficult first week. And normally people can't just wrap their brain around electrolytes at first. It usually doesn't become a priority until keto flu sets in and they try and figure out how to get through keto flu. So keto flu often sets in the second week, sometimes at the tail end of the second week of being on a ketogenic way of eating. Sometimes it happens earlier, but it just seems to me like the people that I've coached tend to hit the electrolyte wall about 2 weeks in. And so that's why I did it that order, so that people could get used to the idea of keeping the carbs low first, worry about the electrolytes second, and then thirdly, worry about macros. Macros are vital if you want to lose fat, but they aren't vital for just getting into ketosis and being keto. Electrolytes are vital to survive, literally. So if your electrolytes get low enough, you really could be very seriously ill. You do not want to mess around. So keto flu, symptoms of keto flu. You'll know that you are in a keto flu state if all of a sudden you start to feel weird headaches. So mine tend to be T-zone through here, and I just kind of feel heavy. They can be any kind of headaches, though. They don't have to be specifically those. Headaches are a sure sign. Difficulty speaking, remembering words, difficulty remembering things, feeling nauseous. And then if it carries on long enough, you will end up with muscle cramping. You can have chest pain. Trying to think of all the things that I've actually personally dealt with. Quite a few, I think. Mostly I deal with the brain fog and, fatigue. Fatigue, that's what I was looking for. Tired, you feel very tired. And that's why people always say keto doesn't work, because I feel crappy on it. I can't do things. I can't exercise. I have no energy. This is the reason. It's electrolytes. So when you're going into keto, you're probably not thinking about those things because you're just trying to deal with the carbs. Going low carb is difficult if you've been eating a lot of carbs, and it's just sometimes the only thing your brain can wrap around in the beginning. And so that's totally normal. That's totally normal. And even though when I coach people, I teach them about electrolytes and I stress them and I tell them how much to take and how to do it and everything like that, they generally don't do it until they hit that wall and they call me up help, I'm dying, something's wrong, this diet isn't good for me, it's bad, this cannot be right. My body feels so bad. And I always say, the first thing I always say, how is your electrolyte consumption? Are you tracking your electrolytes? How much sodium have you had today? Almost 100% always, they have not tracked. They have not tracked, and so they thought they were getting enough, and they were not. And I always say, okay, take a pinch of salt, about a quarter teaspoon of salt, any kind, and call me back in 15 minutes. Every single time. It's a miracle. I feel like a new woman. I feel amazing. Yes. That is because you hit keto flu because you didn't supplement your electrolytes effectively during that first couple of weeks when you're trying to adjust to a ketogenic lifestyle. So, is keto flu avoidable 100%? Yes. Yes. You never have to suffer from keto flu if you start your electrolytes from the beginning and you stay on top of them for the entirety of the rest of your life. Will you stay on top of them for the entirety of the rest of your life and never face keto flu? Probably not. Probably not. And it is avoidable, but it is something that you probably will face at some point when you're eating keto, because life is life and you get distracted and sometimes you forget. And thus, you will end up with keto flu a year in, you know? Can you just get through keto flu and never suffer from it again? No. No. And if people tell you that, they've just learned to live in a lower state of being. Trust me, if you are not supplementing electrolytes on keto, you are not feeling as good as you could be. If you start supplementing them, you will feel much better. Now, if you've been on keto for a while and you didn't supplement and you wanted to try, when you start adding that sodium back into your body will freak out because it has been so starved from sodium that it will retain water really heavily for at least a week. Be prepared. Do not think that the salt is bad for you because all of a sudden your body is swelling up like a giant balloon. That is your body's defense mechanism against keto flu. It has learned to retain as much water as it possibly can in order to keep whatever sodium you are consuming in the body so that it can cope. And when you give it a large amount, it's going to still continue to do that. And so it's just going to collect more and more and more until it finally trusts that every day you're going to give it what it needs, and then it will let the water go. I've seen it time and time again. If you went keto and didn't supplement first. If you supplement from the beginning, you should not suffer from that extreme edema from sodium. If you do, you may be one of the not lucky ones who cannot supplement sodium well and needs to do potassium instead. There's a lot of research out there on potassium supplementation. I don't personally recommend it because I feel like I am not qualified to advise on that, but there are people who can advise on it. I will just say this, if you decide to supplement potassium instead of sodium, which a lot of people do on keto, you must always track it perfectly. You must track it in your food, and you must make sure that your entries include all the potassium so that you do not get too much, because potassium is one of the electrolytes that if you consume too much, you can end up actually stopping your heart and causing serious issues. Sodium, on the other hand, the only problem with sodium usually, I mean, you could eat a crap ton of sodium. I think Dr. Finney says the tippy top you should possibly consume is like 16,000 milligrams. But before, when I was on ketogenic dieters, there were people that took more than that in order to feel normal. So I don't know that there's a tippy top limit that's super dangerous with sodium. You can pretty much take as much as your body wants you to take. But there is a danger if you're too low. Your body can shut down, and it will. I mean, it will. I always talk about last year at Christmas time during Vlogmas, I was vlogging myself shopping at Target at like midnight. And I'm like talking to the camera and I'm slurring my words. I sound drunk. And it wasn't because I was tired. It was because I had gone the whole day shopping and hadn't taken any sodium, and my mouth shut down. It could no longer communicate. It was weird. Everything else functioned normally, thank goodness. I was able to drive home okay, fine. But for some reason, my vocals shut off. And I was like, I knew it was sodium. And as soon as I got home, I took some and boom, it was fixed. So what I say to people on keto, pretty much every symptom, every negative symptom that you can possibly come up with of why keto isn't working for you or what you're having a problem with on keto. Everyone, almost everyone can be linked to low sodium. So if you're feeling weird in any way when you're on keto, always try sodium first and see if it fixes it in 15-20 minutes. If it doesn't, then it may not have been a sodium issue. It may be another issue, or you may not have taken enough sodium. That is the way it is. Plus, you may be going along happily taking a certain amount of sodium, and then one day you feel like crap again and you're having chest pain or you're feeling weird or your muscles cramping and you're going, what is going on? And you discover you need a higher level of sodium all of a sudden. And then it might taper back off. It's not a precise thing. It is, your body varies in what it needs and what it asks you for, and you kind of sometimes have to go based on how you feel. So if you're supplementing the basic lowest amount and you still feel crappy, raise the amount until you feel good. And you can try lowering it also if you want. I tried lowering it in the summer, and that ended up being a big, huge mistake. I ended up suffering really intently with chest pain. I have linked that to some other things. I can't do potassium at all, potassium supplementation at all. And some like energy drinks, I think like Rock Stars or whatever, give me chest pain as well. So I've avoided those. The Bangs don't. Monsters don't. I don't know the difference. I still have not gotten around to figuring that out. But I will say that me supplementing potassium was not a good thing, and sodium works really well for me. So it may not be the case for you, but for most people it is. For most people, it's sodium. So how much sodium do you really need to avoid the keto flu? Should you start on day one? Yes, you should start on day one if you're capable of handling it. If you're capable of dealing with going low carb and supplementing, you should. So you should get 5,000 milligrams of sodium, not 5,000 milligrams of salt, of sodium. And there's like less sodium in salt than its actual weight. So that ends up being a lot more weighing out the salt than, it's not the same amount. It's not the same amount. And that gets really confusing. Some people think they need to just eat 3 grams of salt or 5 grams of salt and then they're good, but that's not the case because it's about half that in sodium in most salts. You have to look at your salt on the back of the package, determine how much sodium is in a 1/4 teaspoon and measure it out. So when I first started it, that's what I did. I used Redmond Real Salt because it tasted the best to me. I would weigh it out in a baggie how much I needed, which is about 10 grams of salt. And I would just carry it around with me all day. And periodically through the day, I would lick a bunch out of my hand. That got really awkward. People asked me, what are you doing all the time when I was trying to get my salt in? So it wasn't the best like for social because people thought it was really, really weird that I eat salt. Okay? But you can do it that way. It does taste good that way, but you do have to eat it a lot. It's like you can't take enough of it at once to make it, it's too much. It's too burny to eat that much at once. Now, you can do what I switched to in right about the time I started a YouTube channel is when I switched over to doing Soleil water instead of eating the salt. So I was about 8 months in before I finally got brave enough to try Soleil water, and I was like kicking myself for not doing that sooner. Are you kidding me? Oh man, I hope you don't hear my kids screaming because they're screaming. Ruby, I'm doing my live chat. You gotta stop crying. Can you talk to Oliver about your problem? What's the problem? Okay, I can't help you with that right now. Just stay away from them and I will talk to them when I'm done. She's very dramatic, like me. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, Soleil water. So I switched over to Soleil water and I was like, dang, why didn't I do this sooner? Because I could take a lot more sodium at once and really quickly with a lot less pain and a lot less burning. Now, sometimes it does still burn your stomach. You have to take it like with water or soda or something to like spread it around the stomach a little so that it's not so bad. But yeah, if you aren't careful, it can be painful still. But it is the easiest way to get it in. So I have a video on how to do it. It is spelled S-O-L-E. So it's Soleil with a little, what do you call that? Oh my gosh, my brain just fried. Maybe I need some Sole water right now. And of course, I didn't grab it. I was going to grab it to show you guys my Sole water, and I didn't. But needless to say, I have a video on how to make it. Basically, you just take salt, put it in a jar, a clear jar, so that you can see through it, so that you can see that it's mixed up and it's doing what it's supposed to do. You fill it a quarter way full with salt. Fill the jar the rest of the way full with water. Shake it up. Sit it on the counter with a lid so that things can't drop into it and whatnot. You can put a plastic bag over the top with a rubber band if you don't have a lid. And wait 24 hours. After 24 hours of sitting, the salt will separate from the water. The salt will sit on the bottom, like in a row on the bottom, and then the rest will be clear water. That clear water on the top is what I call, or what everyone calls, Sole water. It's basically super saturated salt water. You do not want to shake it up again once it's separated. You want to very carefully pour it out. I personally pour it out into a GoStack container, G-O-S-T-A-K. You can get that on Amazon for like $12. And I carry it around with me in my purse that way. And then I will refill it with more water, add a little bit more salt. You do not need to take the salt out of the bottom. You can reuse it as many times as you want. And I just fill it back up, add a bit more salt just to be safe, and set it again down, and then pour it out again tomorrow. And that is how I do my Sole water. I use a little mason jar like this, and it makes the exact amount I need per day, basically, of Sole water on the top. I pour it in the GoStack every morning, go out for my day, make sure I take as much as as much as in the thing, as much as possible. I take about 6 tablespoons a day. That's what I take. And that is, my math, 8,000-ish milligrams of sodium is what I take on a daily basis if I am good and doing what I'm supposed to do. I don't always remember to take all of it, and I usually do suffer from keto flu symptoms. And yes, you will suffer from keto flu symptoms at any time during your keto journey if you are not supplementing sodium, unless your body has learned to live on a lower amount of sodium and you aren't living your full true life. And that's all I can say about that. People that tell me, I feel amazing, I feel good, I don't need to supplement my sodium, I always think, how good could you feel if you did? Because your body learns to cope with a lower amount, and you won't lose as much water, and you might have still inflammatory symptoms and things like that, and you will be more tired, you won't have as much energy. I just always think, how great could you feel if you did it? So if you're just starting out, I highly recommend doing it as soon as possible. Getting your brain wrapped around electrolytes is vital to success, because you can't go on forever feeling miserable. And if you're feeling miserable, you're going to think the diet is dangerous, and it is not dangerous. It is just very anti-inflammatory, which means it's constantly flushing the water out of your system and thus your electrolytes. So sodium is number one. It is key. The second one you're going to need to supplement is magnesium. Magnesium is kind of tricky because all the magnesiums that are sold at Walmart and Walgreens and all those places, almost all of them are magnesium oxide, which isn't going to do you any good because it's only 4% absorbable. So you want to try and shop online. Maybe Amazon is where I usually shop, but if you don't like Amazon, I'm sure you can find other stores that sell magnesium powders or magnesium. Pills are best, in my opinion. It's just easier. Magnesium pills online. Personally, I recommend 2 different types of magnesium. I recommend magnesium malate if you're having trouble being tired and needing more energy, or magnesium glycinate if you are having trouble sleeping or having muscle cramping, things like that. You need to relax. Glycinate will help with that. I know some people that do malate in the morning and glycinate at night. Someday I might do that. I just haven't, because I buy 1 bottle at a time and I can't afford to buy 2 at once usually. So you can choose to do the way I do it. I just do glycinate morning and night is how I like to do it. You don't have to do it morning and night. You don't have to divide it up. You can do it all at once. If you're having constipation issues, all magnesiums will help. If you take a little extra, it will help. If you really need help, magnesium citrate is the best one to flush your system. But magnesium citrate is not great for your cells in the long run. It can disrupt cell growth. It's just not best to take it long term. So use it for a short amount of time to fix your problem, and then move to a glycinate or malate if you can. There's also other ones. I think there's one called Oroweight. I think that's pretty good. Oh my gosh, my kids are literally beating each other up. They don't usually do this. It's really frustrating. I'm trying to decide if I need to intervene. Hey guys, I am doing my live chat and this is really disruptive. You need to go in your room. Virginia? Virginia! You guys have to stop now. Separate from each other now. Gotta love it. They're literally killing each other. They're all crying. Fun times. They don't usually do that. I usually don't have a lot of fighting at my house, so I'm kind of going, sorry about yelling, guys. But it is what it is. Okay, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Potassium, I don't really mess with potassium. 1,000 to 3,500 milligrams of potassium. Oh, and forgot to say the magnesium number. 300 to 700 is what I recommend. 3 to 500 is the regular, like, good zone. 700 if you're really struggling with anything severe, like muscle cramping or really bad constipation or really difficult sleeping. So that higher end is just if you're really having trouble. 3 to 5 is the normal recommendation for magnesium. Potassium, if you're taking the high sodium, you don't need as high of potassium as a lot of keto people recommend. So don't get confused. If your potassium is high, you'll need less sodium. If your sodium is high, you need less potassium. They kind of go like this. So with potassium, you want to make sure you're getting it from food or a supplement like light salt. I sprinkle light salt on my eggs. That's the only potassium supplement that I do. I do about a quarter teaspoon on my eggs in the morning, and that's it, along with my regular salt that I put on my eggs. And I don't count any of the sodium I put on my food or any of the sodium in my food as my amount that I consume. I consume on top of food a minimum of 5,000 milligrams of sodium. And potassium is 1,000 to 3,500 if you're having the high sodium. That's all you need, and you need to get it from food. So leafy green vegetables, all meats have potassium. If your potassium is low in your tracker, check your entries. Make sure that the foods that you are consuming, that it's actually giving you credit for your potassium, because a lot of apps have user entered information, especially MyFitnessPal. It is notorious for having no potassium listed in the entry. So make sure if you're eating meat, there is potassium in it. If you're eating a vegetable, there's potassium. If you're eating pumpkin, there's a lot of potassium. There's a lot of great and avocados, things like that. So make sure you're getting credit where credit is due from your potassium foods. And that's pretty much it. As long as you keep your electrolytes up, you shouldn't suffer from keto flu ever. Not in the beginning, not 2 years down the road. If you let your electrolytes die, you will suffer from keto flu even if you're 2 years in. This is an all the time, forever while you're on keto thing that you have to do in order to feel great. And to me, I just look at it as like taking my vitamins. It doesn't bother me. I like it. It doesn't feel weird or inconvenient or anything. It's just what I do. Just like I would take vitamins, or I would take a medication if I needed it, or, whatever. I just take it at certain times of day, and I have it with me all times. If I start to feel sick or weird, I go, oh, whoopsie, I must be late on my sodium, and I take care of it. So that's what I recommend to you guys as well. Okay, I'm going to see if there's anybody that has questions. I know you guys have probably had a million conversations without me, so I'm going to try and read as quickly as I can. I hate to stop and read and not say anything. I just don't like silence. Okay. Teresa said she actually had the keto flu on and off for 2 months till she found me and learned about Soleil water. So woohoo. Yay. You shouldn't have to suffer. And here I have ADH Snuggles and Penny Santelli, who is one of our new admins over on the Facebook group. So come on over and join us on the Facebook group if you haven't already. Niquina, Nicole, it's good to see you. She has been married 15 years, and she is a huge believer in Soleil water and wishes more people would talk about it. Me too. I can't believe these big keto channels don't talk about it so much. They really should. To me, it is like my huge soapbox. I'm always up there pounding, telling people, eat your salt, eat your salt. It's vital, it's vital, it's vital. And people never believe me until they get sick. It just makes me laugh so hard. Let's see. Yes, super tired. That's definitely a symptom. It's probably the first one, actually. Nicole said, I definitely was so scared starting it, but she figured, what do I have to lose? I really believe that lack of electrolytes is a huge factor in high blood pressure. Is that what that is? HB? I was on the verge of needing meds. So yeah. And what's funny is that people always tell me, oh, I have high blood pressure, so I can't take the sodium. And I'm like, I did it. I had terrible high blood pressure when I started. My blood pressure was 175/94 on a daily basis. I know because I was testing it, because I was induced early with my son in 2015, right before the end of the year. He was born in December. And I was induced early because of high blood pressure. They put me on meds, but I wouldn't take them because I was breastfeeding and it interfered with that. It gave me Raynaud's syndrome in my breasts, and I couldn't, it was too painful. So I stopped taking it, and I moved. That whole year, I took my blood pressure every day, and it was ridiculously high, and it was only getting higher because I was gaining more and more weight as the year progressed. So by the time I started, I was seriously afraid that high blood pressure was going to kill me, and was just desperate searching for a solution. I did the sodium from day one, and my blood pressure never went higher. I tested it daily for at least 5 months, and after about 3 months it started to go down, and now I'm happy to say that it is always 100% awesomely normal, and I still take the sodium every single day. So unless it really does affect you, I would try it first. See what happens, and then decide if you want to adjust your amount. Like I said, some people have a hard time with the sodium and they need to do potassium instead. That could be you. If that is you, let me know, and I will send you to where you can find that information. They are still killing each other. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to make it through this live chat. I may have to go beat some kids. Okay, I'm not going to beat them, but I'm not feeling very happy with them right now. All right. Ooh, Just Keto Jen says she carries hers around in a clear glass dropper bottle, so she can just drop it into any of her drinks through the day. That's a great idea, especially if you don't love the taste of it. So sometimes you can take it, you can mask the flavor by putting it into a drink of some kind. Actually, one of my favorites, which is a really weird one, and some people don't really like it and probably wouldn't think it was good, is the Bai coconut drinks. They have erythritol in them, so they're basically zero carb. And I will put a tablespoon or two of salt Sole water in the Bai drink, and I just love that flavor. It just tastes so good to me. And I've let other people taste it, and they thought I was crazy, so maybe it's just a me thing. But yeah, you can definitely do it that way. That's a great idea. And Nicole says, it's frustrating when I hear people say just drink pickle juice. Because pickle juice, I agree with you, because 15 years dating, but 11 years married. I thought, man, you got married young. So 11 years married. It's good to hear that. Hey, you never know. Anyway, pickle juice is a good option in a pinch. So if you are in keto flu and you're dying, and the only way you can get sodium in you is if you can stand to drink pickle juice, by all means, drink pickle juice. But you cannot use pickle juice as your sodium supplementation for a long period of time, and this is the reason why. There are varying amounts of sodium in pickle juice, depending on the brand, and it isn't always labeled correctly. The pickle itself might have the sodium listed, but the pickle juice does not. And there's no way to know how much sodium you're taking, so you might be taking too much, and you'll end up in the bathroom having horrible diarrhea, or you'll take not enough, and you'll have headaches and feel bad. So it's not the best for long-term supplementation. If you're going to do something like that, bouillon is better, but most bouillon has carbs, and most bouillon has MSG. So it's not the best solution, but it is a solution if you can't do it any other way. So you can use pickle juice and broth, but it is better to do something that's more trackable and just try and get to the point where you can just take a shot of Sole water and chase it with some water and call it good. That's the fastest way to do it. That's the fastest way to get it in. And so that's why I do it, because my life is crazy. And I don't have time to think about things like that. I have to be able to do it fast. If I start to get a headache, I'm like, oh, when was the last time I took a Soleil water? Oh, it's been 3, 4 hours. I better take some. And I do it really quickly and move on with my life. So to me, fast is huge. Let's see. Yeah, and Kelly, she says she must be weird because she's never had keto flu symptoms and she's only taken what salt she puts on food. Like I said, you may be feeling fine, but you could be feeling a million times better. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's literally impossible to not be suffering from keto flu. Your body has just learned to retain sodium in it. And so what you consume is being held onto, which is not the best. When you're on keto, you want to be flushing. You want your cells to be flushing. When you want that whoosh factor, right? And if you don't have enough sodium, your body has a really hard time letting that water go. So when you lose fat out of your fat cells and they fill up with water to hold their place, your body won't want to let those go in order for you to lose those pounds on the scale. So you might hold on to a lot more water than you really need because your sodium levels are too low. If your sodium levels get high, like I said at first, if you've been doing it for 17 months and you haven't supplemented, when you start supplementing, if you decide to, you will swell up like a giant balloon for at least a week and you will think this is very bad. But trust me, if you stick to it, then you will have the hugest whoosh you have ever had in your life, and you are going to feel so much better. Your mental focus and clarity will improve. You will not feel as tired. Even if you don't think you're feeling tired, it's kind of like when you're in depression and you don't really realize you're in depression. And when you come out of it, you go, whoa, I was feeling really depressed and I didn't even realize it. It is that kind of a thing. So, hey, just try it. Just try it for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Try it. And then come back and go back to what you were doing and let me know if you disagree still, because I just cannot it's science. I cannot wrap my brain around that working. Not for long term and not for feeling really, really great on keto, which is like the point, right? Isn't that why we do it? That is what the point is. So we can feel amazing, right? I mean, I feel better than I've ever felt in my entire life, including when I was a 10-year-old child. And I have suffered from depression my whole life. And this diet is the only thing that has ever helped my depression. Is it 100% gone? No. You have seen me, if you are been around here long enough, you have seen me have moments of depression, and I will still come on here and cry and be miserable and whatever. I'm real. I will show you when I'm feeling down. But for the most part, I feel pretty dang good, even on 5-6 hours of sleep. Not bad. Though, I do have a bang in the morning to get started, and that's 300 milligrams of caffeine. So I got to give the caffeine some credit for that. But yeah. Did I say take 5,000 milligrams of sodium? Yes, I did. 5,000 minimum on top of food. It's a lot. It is a lot, but it can be done easily, and you will get to the point where you love it. At first, it might feel like misery, but it will even out. Now, you do not want to take 5,000 milligrams of sodium at one time. Do not drink the whole jar of Soleil water. You will barf and barf and barf and sit on the toilet and sit on the toilet and sit on the toilet until you think you're going to die if you do that. Do not do that. A tablespoon, the most you should take at the beginning. Even start with a teaspoon and see how that goes. And then a couple hours later, do 2 teaspoons and see how that goes. If you end up with diarrhea, your body can't handle that much yet. Though eventually your body will handle it better. And you can get to like me where I can take 2 tablespoons at once. Whereas at the beginning, I couldn't do that. Your body gets used to it and it uses it more effectively, and it is less likely to flush your system if you kind of ease into it. And you want to spread it out throughout the day, no matter how much you can take at one time. You still need to spread it out so that your body has a ready supply of it all the time. So I take it 4 times a day. I usually take it first thing in the morning before I eat. Then I take it with my first meal, and then I take it with my second meal, and then I take it sometime in the evening before I go to bed. And that's how I usually do it. Sometimes I only get those 3 doses in, and that is still more than the 5,000 milligrams. So I'm not super worried if I don't. But if I start to get chest pains, which I do when my sodium, it gets really low, I think because my potassium drops, I get chest pains. And so if I get that point, I have to really boost it to get back on top of it. So I try really hard not to get to that point. Anyway, all right, let's see. What the heck? Oh, that's funny. Nicole says, I just listened to a Q&A by another YouTuber and they mentioned your name, my name, and higher protein. It was fun to hear. Oh, that's funny. You have to tell me who that was later. That's really funny. Oh my gosh. Yes, daily. Every single day for the rest of your life if you're going to do keto forever. Every single day, 5,000 milligrams minimum. 300 milligrams minimum magnesium and 1,000 milligrams potassium from food minimum. And all of that information is on the Keto Chaos Facebook page. So if you forget that stuff and you haven't written it down, I do have electrolyte videos though where I've talked about it a lot. And I do have the Soleil water video on how to make it. I have a lot of videos. If you look in my playlists, you can find things a little bit more easily. Though I don't know if I have an electrolyte specific playlist. I should. I need to go back and like make one and put all of my electrolyte videos in one place so they're easy to find. But on the Facebook group, I have a little meme that says how much. I have a chart, a PDF. If you're not on Facebook, you can email me at ketochaos@gmail.com and I will send it to you for free, 100% free, and you can share it with whomever you want. The information that I'm giving you is only information that I've gotten from Stephen Phinney. Dr. Stephen Phinney is the one who came up with all the research and has put out the blog posts on vertahealth.com. And that's where I get everything that I teach you guys is from his blog and his books, Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living and New Atkins for a New You. That is where I get all the information that I'm teaching you. So I am not the expert. I am not a nutritionist. I am not a doctor. I am not a scientist. I'm literally just a mom who learns stuff and is good at teaching things I learned. So I guess that's it. Oh, so Nicole says she has lately been doing it with a concoction of apple cider vinegar, natural calm lemon, and Soleil water, and it's gotten easier to take. Be careful with natural calm, though, because that is actually magnesium citrate, and it is not, I personally don't recommend it because the Magnesium Council, like there's a Facebook group that talks like magnesium, I can't remember the name of it, but they actually have said that magnesium citrate can disrupt cells. So I don't recommend taking natural calm on a daily basis for a long time, though I know on ketogenic dieters, that's a highly recommended one. That one and Jigsaw, and I think Jigsaw might also be citrate. I can't remember for sure. But they do recommend it over there a lot, and a lot of people use it, and they've been fine. So, but I just personally choose not to for that reason. But man, if it helps you get the Soleil water in, then it's better. It's better to do that anyway, right? All right. Okay, so Jamie says, I missed the beginning. How do I make Soleil water? I'm 3 months in, only lost 20 pounds. The difference in my hormones is amazing. Completely reversed the symptoms of hot flashes and anger. Yep. I mean, it's just a miracle. I don't feel like I need to kill my kids, though. Sometimes I do get mad. I'm really mad and I want to. Like, I was really mad at Dave last night for silly reason, and I kind of flew off the handle, but that was more because of my anxiety, because I had a photo shoot today and I get anxiety still. Been doing photos for 11 years and I still freaking get anxiety every time. It's obnoxious. I know what I am doing. I don't need to feel scared about it, and I still do every time. So I got kind of mean last night for that reason. Once I told him that was the reason, he was like, oh, okay. He gets it. He's known me for a really long time. We've been married almost 25 years. Our anniversary in July will be 25 years. So 24 and a half years, pretty crazy. How do I make Soleil water? So I'll go back over that really quickly, but there is a video. If you search it, SOLE water, you can search it. There's videos I made and there's videos other people have made that you can watch. But basically what you do is you take any kind of salt except for table salt. So I personally use Himalayan rock crystals because I like to be able to see the crystals separated from the sediment, so I know if there's still salt in there, because you really need to be able to see the salt at the bottom after it separates out to know for sure that your water got enough sodium absorbed into it, because it's chemistry. Water can only absorb 1,434 milligrams of sodium, so for each tablespoon. That's how much is in a tablespoon of Soleil water. I just say 1,400 and call it that because it's easier. And that's what I put in my tracker. I made my own tracker entry food entry for Soleil water in Chronometer, and I stick it in there and make sure I get enough. And that's what you guys should do as well. So you take like a clear mason jar, a clear jar of any kind. The reason they don't recommend using metal is because salt will rust metal, but that's the only reason. It's not anything to do with it damaging the Soleil water. It won't do anything with Soleil water. Just damages your metal spoons or metal lids if you use a metal lid. So I personally have a mason jar with a Parmesan cheese pour lid. It isn't the best. You'll see on a video where I showed how to make it that I went to shake it up and the water sprays out. It still does do that, but I still use that same one just because I really like that setup. So I just try and shake gently, or I try and really run the water into the salt really heavily so that it kind of stirs things up in there. And then I add some more salt in. So you start with a quarter of the jar full of salt, any kind, sea salt, Himalayan salt, whichever kind. Fill the bottle up all the way with water. It is not an exact science. It does not matter how much salt, how much water ratio, as long as after 1 day, if you still see salt on the bottom of the jar, you're fine. If there's no salt, you're going to need to add more and wait another 24 hours because that means you didn't put enough in. It's better to err on the side of too much salt than not enough because the water can only absorb a certain amount no matter how much. So it's better to have too much in there so you make sure that it's absorbed. So you'll see it separate, and when there's salt on the bottom and clear water on the top, the clear water has absorbed as much sodium as it can. And you can use that clear water. Do not shake it back up. Gently pour it out into a container. And once you start to see salt coming in with it, turn it back and don't let that go out. Use that same salt. Add more water, more salt. Put it back on the counter for tomorrow. And that is how you do it. And I pour the clear water out and take it with me in a Go Stack container. Gostak. So that's basically it. All right. Let's see. The Hilder's Crazy House. I love that your name is Hilder because that is actually my sister-in-law's grandmother's first name is Hilder, and it is her daughter's middle name. So that just makes me feel like family when I see the Hilders. Hilder's Crazy House. How do you feel about the carnivore keto? Ever tried it? No, I haven't really tried it, but I don't have a problem with it. I think it's fine. I think it's a little bit exaggerated on what you can and can't have. I kind of roll my eyes a little bit that you can't have any non-animal product or whatever. I don't feel that there's any more benefit to the carnivore diet over what I do because veggies just really don't affect you that much. Having your carb be 0 carbs is not necessary. If you are under 20 net carbs, you're in ketosis. If your numbers aren't as high, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how high your freaking ketones are. You're in ketosis, you're going to burn fat. It has never affected me. Well, I've never tested my ketones, not once. I don't care. As long as I continue to lose fat, that's all that matters to me. Being in the perfect state of ketosis is not the end all be all for me. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to have control. And I'm doing it so that I can lose weight. And that is sincerely it. So I am on the fringe of not crazy, I don't know the word. What do you call that? Perfect keto? Like I still eat soybean oil and ranch dressing and MSG and diet soda and whatever else because that's what I do. And that's what makes it sustainable for me. I can't get too crazy with grass-fed and everything. There's nothing wrong with the carnivore diet, but I don't see that there's anything benefit over what I do, which is higher protein, moderate fat. And in fact, you might get too much fat doing carnivore if you're not careful with the meats that you're eating. So there's nothing really wrong with it, but I don't know that it's really that beneficial over what I do. Does that make sense? All right. Glycinate will help you sleep and just take a little bit extra. So Nicole says she's been doing the Calm, but she wants to switch it up because she can't sleep. Take it right before bed and I take a double dose right before bed just to make sure I sleep well and that I stay relaxed. I haven't had any muscle cramping problems since I started doing a little extra magnesium. So you may find you just need a little extra. But yeah, the Calm, if you take extra of that, you're going to be like running fourth. So be careful. Let's see. Anyone have issues with low back pain on keto? Shouldn't. Other than if your electrolytes are low, you could be getting cramping, muscle cramping, but back pain should not be, any kind of pain in the joints should improve with keto. not get worse. So I would be worried about maybe you having a kidney stone issue, or I would probably be seen if the back pain is severe. I don't see a connection to it. I don't feel like there's a connection other than maybe electrolytes. So make sure your electrolytes are on point for over a week. If you're still suffering, then, well, if you get worse, obviously go to the doctor. Don't mess around, because back pain is often connected to kidney issues. So that could be what your issue is. All right. Susan Rapp says she mixes her Soleil water with Zevia mango ginger energy drink and some packets of True Lime. Makes a limeade. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds really, really good. I would drink that, probably. Why not? That sounds good. Just Ketogen. Can you be in ketosis but not lose pounds? I check my blood ketones. I know I'm in ketosis, but I actually gained 1 pound in the last 2 weeks. Yes. The short answer is yes. If you are on a deficit and you are not consuming more calories than your body is burning, probably not. It's just water weight. Just wait it out. If you are eating a high-fat version of keto and you're not tracking, you're doing lazy keto, you can definitely gain weight by consuming more fat calories than your body burns. But it's not likely. It takes a lot of fat consumption to get to that point. So I would say most likely you just are hitting a little mini plateau. And like I do, I mean, for 2 weeks, I'm up 6-7 pounds. I mean, good grief, it drives me crazy. And then I'll have a week where I whoosh all of it off plus some, and then I'll have another week where I'll lose a couple pounds, and then it goes right back to the beginning again when I start putting on the water weight. I don't know why my body does that. Everybody's body doesn't do that, but it could be something like that. So unless it's been 4 weeks, I wouldn't even start worrying. And honestly, I would say wait it out 6 weeks just to make sure, and make sure that you're tracking everything and that you're eating at a deficit. If you're eating at a deficit, you should be losing. It's science. So just be patient. If you're not eating at a deficit or you're not tracking, I highly recommend doing that. So if you haven't tried my macros, join the Facebook group and grab those. Those should be at a significant deficit. If you go 4 to 6 weeks without losing anything using those macros, and you've been very careful and you're making sure you have your electrolytes and all of the things are perfect, you're going to probably have to lower your fat grams. So honestly, it's just because if you consume enough fat that your body has plenty of energy to run, it doesn't have any reason to go into your fat stores to burn stuff. But the point of being in ketosis is to convince your body that fat is the highest quality fuel and to get it to burn what's on your body. Normally, when you're on a glycogen diet and you starve your body, all your body does is beg you for more carbs and sit there waiting for more carbs. It takes it a while to think, oh, I have this fat on me I could burn, because it's not already in fat burning mode. So the point of being in ketosis is to convince your body that fat is a good fuel source, so that it just automatically goes right from dietary fat to body fat. No problem. Just goes back and forth all day long without freaking out, which is why you don't get hungry on keto. So if you are hungry on keto, it's usually because you're low on sodium, almost always. So if you're starving, feel like you're starving, take more salt and then see how you feel. And if you're still starving, eat another meal. It's fine. But I would always say sodium first. So if you're thirsty, before you guzzle water, take sodium first. Wait 20 minutes. See if you feel better. If your lips are dry, same thing. Take sodium first. Because if you drink too much water and you haven't had enough sodium all together already, it'll make it worse. So always, 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 if you have any kind of problem on keto, try salt first. Because almost everything is cured. It's like what these people say about coconut oil cures everything. I disagree. It's salt. If you're eating keto, it's salt. All right. The Hilder's crazy house says she's been doing a soda fast for nearly a month and haven't noticed any changes in her body or weight loss. I've got 4 more days till I go a full month. I can taste the Coke Zero already. I would never have made it that long, girl. I tried going dairy-free for a week and almost died. If I tried to go without soda, I think I would die, because when I'm having those between meal munchies and it's just a mental thing and I'm trying to deal with that mental game because I still struggle. I have had such a hard time. Guys, I've had a really hard time this week. I have not been good at staying on those cut macros. I just want to eat all the freaking seeds in the planet and nuts. It's really irritating because I know that that's going to make me keep my water weight on and I'm not going to lose it like I need to this week. But I am having a really hard time and I don't know why. I'm having a lot of anxiety issues and I'm having a hard time really sticking to my cutting macros. And when that happens, I take that as a sign that my body, it just needs a break from losing weight and I just eat what I need to eat to stay keto. I don't want to risk freaking out and doing something stupid and kicking myself out of ketosis and causing more issues. So it's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be perfect. I'm not perfect, you guys. I'm almost 2 years in and I'm still struggle with days where I just want to eat something. We all have those feelings and it's just, you have to find a way to cope with it. I think my emotions are really getting to me. I've had some, the photo shoot thing, not the one I took today, but that was part of it. Like my anxiety gets bad. And when I have anxiety, I just want to munch, munch, munch. And so, man, the Coke Zero, just sometimes that's just all I need to calm that down and make my body feel like I had a treat so that it will just like relax and chill already. Cause I'm tired of fighting with my stinking body. I feel like I fight it all the time. And that's just part of being an addict. And I think that I'm going to struggle with that forever. And that's okay. I'm just going to have to keep coping. Will I eventually fall off the wagon and totally screw up? Only time will tell. I don't know. I hope not. I hope not. But, I am a human being and you just never know what is going to happen in the future. Right now, I say no, I will never, ever, ever fall off the wagon of keto. I did kick myself out of ketosis on Halloween, though, by eating too many keto treats. And I knew I did because the next day I was suffering something fierce. Headaches. I actually felt like I had keto flu, only sodium didn't even touch it. So I thought, I probably kicked myself out of ketosis for the first time ever. I don't think I've ever been out before that. So yeah, I had I don't even know. I had so many keto treats. I had 3 bags of those ridiculous Smart Sweets. That was probably not the best choice. And a keto cupcake and some sugar-free Jello, though that shouldn't have bothered me. I don't know. I just feel like I kicked myself out. So I must have been just right on the teetering edge. And maybe that's why I'm struggling. Maybe I'm still suffering from that. Hadn't thought of that. That could be it. It's been a week, but yeah, I guess that's possible, right? Dang. Not gonna be doing that again. Be more careful on Thanksgiving, hopefully. Not go hog wild eating every keto treat that exists. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but those gummy bears were worth it. They definitely, I definitely liked them, but it's not gonna be an all the time thing. They're too expensive to be the all the time thing. And apparently they're notorious for kicking people out of ketosis. So obviously they're not the best choice for me. Definitely not 3 bags at a time. They're 6 net carbs per bag. What was I thinking? That's 18 carbs right there. Not to mention whatever was the 2 or 3 from the keto cake and the 1 per whatever that was in all the heavy whipping cream I consumed. And the cream cheese. Yeah, I definitely went way over my 20. Who knows how far up I got. Total carbs would have been ridiculous because those gummy bears are mostly fiber. All right. I have wondered that, Melissa Davis. She said, I wonder if sodium is good even if not on keto, and I think yes. I think yes. I often wonder if a lot of problems that some of the adults have with memory loss is because their sodium is low because they've been taught that sodium is bad for so long that they never eat any. I know that when you're pregnant, it's vital. So I can't see that it would be, if you keep it low too long, I really worry about that. In fact, I had a friend whose mother was so bad with dementia and she got so ill and they finally took her in and it turned out that she had no sodium. She was low in sodium and she was dying because of it. They pumped her full of sodium, sent her home, and she didn't have dementia anymore. Yeah. It can really mess with your mind, really, really mess with it if you don't have the right balance for what your body needs. Now, when you're on a standard American diet, you're not flushing sodium, so you don't need as much. But yeah, I still say that it's probably vital. And if you're eating a very low sodium diet for heart disease, you're going to risk dementia and problems like that. It makes me nervous for people who are being told that, especially since now studies are showing that heart disease is caused by carbohydrate intake and inflammation. Science. It changes every day, right? And that's the thing. Like we learn more all the time. So whatever we're doing right now, it may change in 10 years. We don't know. We don't know everything. We only know what we've done studies on and seen how it happened, right? I mean, that's what Dr. Finney does on a daily basis. It's always working on some new study to make sure that the science progresses and that we have the most recent updated information. The problem with that is that when you're taught something from the government that something is healthy, they give you the stupid food pyramid when you're like 8 years old in school, and you believe that with all your heart that is the way you should eat. It's really hard to switch your brain around when you've been doing that for so many years. So be open to new science. This may not be the end all be all of science right here. The stuff I may teaching you, we may find out there's differences or there's improvements or there's different things that can affect us in the future. All I can teach you is that what works for me right now, and this is all working for me really well. And so that's the only thing I can really teach is what I know. And this is only what I know right now because the science is only saying that. The difference between Diet Coke and Coke Zero, we talked about the other day. I think it's the only difference is that Coke Zero has acesulfame potassium in it, but they're both sweetened with aspartame. So if you're sensitive to acesulfame potassium, then you won't want to do Coke Zero, but the Coke Zero tastes better. So if you don't have a problem with it, go for that. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of glad to hear you haven't had any improvement with the diet soda fast. Oh my gosh, Lauren Brazy? You're kidding. Wow. She's even like a big YouTuber. Thank you, Lauren, if you're watching. That's awesome. I'll have to go watch that. Okay. Yes, Coke Zero does taste more like real Coke. Sugar-free Jello and whipped cream. Yeah, I ate that. That was one of the things I ate on Halloween. One of them. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I didn't realize it would be so easy to tell when you kick yourself out of ketosis. So I feel a lot more confident that I've been in ketosis all this time, even though I haven't tested, because, yeah, that was crazy. Ooh, have fun at the Brazilian grill, Nicole. Yum, yum, yum. That's delicious stuff over there. Hey, Tammy, Keto Crickets. It's going great. We're about finishing up. Do you have any questions? Anybody else have any questions? Because we're already over our hour. But yeah, Melissa, definitely try the sodium. Let me know how it goes because I'm always curious. I'm always curious when people don't do it and then they try it. Wow, what happens? And if you're not on the Facebook group, definitely join over there because I'm able to really answer questions, especially if you tag me. So I'm Tamara Hyde over there. And if you tag me, I can answer questions a lot easier than I can just right here on live chat because we can really converse back and forth that way, and I can get to it when I'm in between things. So, yeah, if you have any more questions, definitely get on the Facebook group and ask me over there. So, my kids are still going crazy. I probably really ought to go. I don't think they're killing each other, but they are so loud today. So, it makes me have a headache and not want to keep talking. So I'm going to go. I hope that's okay. And if you guys have any more questions for me, feel free to post them in the comment section and I will answer them as soon as I can. Definitely go on the Facebook group and contact me that way. That's the fastest way to get a hold of me if you just tag me in a post on the Facebook group. You can also email me at ketochaos@gmail.com. If you made it this far, when it wasn't a live chat, definitely put an avocado or a bacon or both emoji in the comment section below. Hello to all my faithful followers who watch these live chats later. I commend you because that is not an easy task. These are very long chats, and to watch them later is it just takes a stalwart soul, and I appreciate it. And thank you everyone who has helped me over on Hide and Seek. We hit our 1,000 subscribers. I'm so happy and excited. Now we just have like 550 more hours of watch time that we have to get before we can apply for monetization. So we are getting really close, and only 4 months in. That is like spectacular. And I know that it's you guys who are doing it and making it work for me. And I really appreciate it because my kids were so ecstatic, so excited. All right. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll talk to you all again soon.